Welcome to part 1 of this SEND training video. In part 1, I'll look to discuss some statistics around our school SEND register and provide some further context around national trends. 44% of children in schools in England will be at some point registered on their school's SEND register. That means from reception until year 11, almost half of the children who are educated in England at some point are recognised as needing additional support for their learning. The school's SEND register is important because it's reported nationally, and from the data provided by all primary and secondary schools in the country, the current average of children receiving SEND support is 14%. In secondary at Ark Academy, 10% of the children are on the school's SEN register. Education, health and care plans recognise a higher level of need. They are statutory instruments that report the provision that certain children require to access learning in a mainstream school. In our school in September, we will have 23 children with EHC plans in secondary. 3 of those children will be in year 11, and 9 of those children will be joining us in year 7. So you can see that there is a more pronounced need lower down the school. When we are talking about children with SEND, we're not talking about children who attain at a lower level, although some children with cognition deficits may attend at a lower level than their non-SEND peers. However, having an SEN does not automatically preclude you from achieving and attaining highly. Likewise, SEND does not equal low ability. Not all children with SEND are low ability students. And certainly where we're talking about children with SEND who are low attaining, we are still not referring to the fact that they are less able. SEND is not fixed. As demonstrated on the previous slide, 44% of children throughout their school career receive some form of SEN intervention. Therefore, comparing data between schools is particularly difficult as different schools use different criteria to register their children. A contextual example from our school is the makeup of the SEND register for children who are in the new year 11. As you can see on screen, exactly 50% of the children in year 11 who have a special need are not educated in our bottom set. And equally, having an education, health and care plan also does not necessarily infer that a child is low attaining, and the children with EHC plans are split fairly equally across our attainment groups. So depending on where you're at in understanding the school's SEN provision may require some changes in the way you talk about SEND children. I think the quote on screen is a very accessible way to prompt your reflections. I began by thinking I was marking my students, but then I realised I was marking my teaching. And so to end this first training video, a few do's and don'ts when talking about children with SEND. Do not assume that all low attaining children have a special need or that all children with special needs will attain at a lower level. And certainly do not use the term low ability when we're discussing children, and particularly those in turquoise groups. Attainment is by outcome as a result of our teaching rather than due to an inherent ability. And at the end of each video, I'll leave a food for thought prompt to stimulate your reflections between each of these training sessions.